PowerBoat Television is sponsored by Sea-Doo. When it comes to recreation, there is no contest. And BoatBuys.com, 20,000 boats online.
Hi, I'm Mike Gridley and welcome to PowerBoat Television. Now, over the years, I've been fortunate enough to call Southern Georgian Bay and the 30,000 Islands my home cruising waters. Now, back in 2004, we did our very first Discover Cruising DVD on the 30,000 Islands. So this year we've come back to update that in high definition. So over the next 3 episodes, come with us as we enjoy the cruise from Southern Georgian Bay to Killarney following the small craft route.
Georgian Bay is a vast expanse of 15,000 square kilometers of water, large enough really to be the 5th Great Lake. While boaters can be found in every corner of the bay, the vast majority choose to explore the 30,000 Islands, the finest freshwater cruising ground in the world. The largest communities on the Sound are Penetanguishene and Midland. Both towns are home to several marinas and a large number of seasonal and transient boaters who enjoy the waters of Southern Georgian Bay every weekend. A popular marina on Severn Sound is Queen's Cove in Victoria Harbour. Offering the only covered slips on Georgian Bay, this friendly marina has a host of amenities and services that make it a great jumping-off point with the southern tip of Beausoleil Island in view.
Well, if you've been traveling to reach Georgian Bay along the Trent Severn and have arrived at Gloucester Pool, just before Lock 45, there's a great place to stop before you head out in the bay, and that's Starport Severn.
Starport is a full-service marina that caters to transient and seasonal boaters alike. Their main facilities above Lock 45 provide everything from a chandlery to a boater's clubhouse. Below the lock is their expansive sales and service operation. When cruising out onto the bay from its southern ports or the Trent Severn waterway, one of the most popular destinations is Beausoleil Island, part of the Georgian Bay Islands National Park. Beausoleil is a boater's dream, with sand beaches and open anchorages on its southern end. As you work your way north, the island transitions to the granite and pine trees of the rugged Canadian Shield. Exploring in and around the island reveals wonderfully scenic and protected anchorages like Ojibwe and Chimney Bays off Beausoleil Bay to the well-protected Frying Pan Bay at the island's northern reach. Not far from Beausoleil is Honey Harbour, where many cruisers find themselves passing through. Picnic Island is a great stop to fuel up, get some provisions, and grab an ice cream cone. If you're looking to pamper yourself, look no further than South Bay Cove Marina. Here you will find expansive state-of-the-art docks to handle large cruisers and customer service that is second to none. During your stay, enjoying an excellent meal and a glass from the wine cellar at the top of the Cove restaurant is an absolute must. Just east of the small craft route, north of Beausoleil Island, are the Musquash anchorages. The first of these is locally known as Hockey Stick Bay, an obvious choice given its shape. Tucked into the top of Bone Island, this is a well-sheltered and quiet spot. Across from Bone, opposite Jones Point, is Brown Bay. This large anchorage, with depths of 20 feet, is popular with some of the larger vessels cruising the 30,000 Islands. Next door to Brown is the long and narrow Longuisa Bay. Larger craft tend to anchor midway down past the cottages, while smaller craft head further in. If you arrive early enough, there's a great spot to tuck into at the end of the bay. Back along the shore of Bone Island is Getchewan Island anchorage, and a second more sheltered, hence busier bay, created by a protective island. From the Musquash, the small craft route heads upbound through Muskoka Landing and Monument Channels, heading for Sans Souci and the nearby anchorages of the Moon River. Join us later in the show as we tour more of Georgian Bay's 30,000 Islands.
Time for Power Profile, brought to you by BoatTest.ca.
You put a lot of demands on your fishing machine from early spring to late fall. This week's Power Profile, a 2013 Tracker Pro V175 WT, may be the boat you've been hunting for.
Like all trackers, the Pro Guide 175 comes rigged for fishing, starting with a standard Minn Kota power drive 55-pound thrust trolling motor. Tucked into the bow are the trolling motor plug-in, a 12-volt outlet, and a remote tilt switch for the motor. Whether you leave the bow deck open or drop in a folding fishing chair, there is ample space to work a casting rod. Under the marine carpeted deck to port is a 19-gallon aerated live well with bait bucket, along with a starboard side locker. Filling the balance of the space and access from the cockpit is the rod locker that will hold 5 8-foot casting rigs and the trolling motor battery, all locked securely away. For bulky gear, the 175 has a large in-floor locker in the cockpit. Rounding out the storage for rods and gear are 2 locking side lockers along the gunnels. Under the aft deck is a 29-gallon aerated live well, and like the bow setup, has recirculation timing, a pump-out system, and bait bucket. With a length of 16 feet 11 inches and a beam of 97 inches, the cockpit has ample room for the helm seat and 2 fishing chairs. There are 6 pedestal seat locations to clear the cockpit for fishing, with the chairs mounted fore and aft. The Pro Guide 175 is available with a single console, but I'm a real fan of the dual console layouts. Having the second console gives you additional storage bins and a lockable compartment for the standard AM/FM CD stereo with MP3 input. The helm features illuminated single-function instrumentation, minimal system switches, and a padded sport wheel, and keeping with Tracker's ready-to-fish-right-out-of-the-box philosophy, a standard Lowrance X4 fish finder.
Now, one of the great things about this tracker is its ability to extend your seasons late in the fall and start early in the spring. And there's a couple of features here that do that, starting here with the windshield, which is quite tall, gives you great protection from wind and spray. You've also got quite a deep cockpit that keeps the spray down, and that's also aided by the design of the hull. So this makes your ride dry and warmer.
Tracker offers 4 Mercury engine choices for the Pro Guide: a 90 or 115 horsepower 4-stroke EFI, or a 90 and 115 horsepower Optimax direct injection 2-stroke like our tester. The Mercury delivered a 32-mile-per-hour cruise at 4,500 RPM and an impressive top speed of 41 miles per hour. The Pro Guide 175 has a 2-piece all-welded hull, and with a 20-degree dead rise with reverse chines, it handled quite well. The hull's full-length stringers, grid-style cross members, 1-piece gunnels, box beam transom, and injected foam in the hull give the 175 a solid ride that is quiet, rattle-free, and dry.
If you're looking for a mid-sized deep feed fishing package that's roomy with a comfortable dry ride, Tracker's Pro Guide V175 walkthrough is definitely a package worth looking at.
Closed captioning is brought to you by BoatBuys.com. Ready to buy? Then head to BoatBuys.com, where you'll find thousands of new and used boats for sale.
Elements make up everything in this world. They represent the building blocks of the things in our day-to-day life. But for Bayliner, the element represents the building of something entirely new. Brand new for 2013, the element is Bayliner's fresh look at boating, built to not only entice a whole new group into boating, but to also make it accessible for everyone. It's sporty, safe, simple, and affordable. At 16 feet 2 inches, the element can fit in most garages. And at under 2,500 pounds including the trailer, it can be towed with most vehicles.
Now, the element may be the start of something new, but it stays true to Bayliner's goals of being simple and easy to own and maintain. The inside is a 1-piece molded fiberglass deck, and since they avoided certain details, it keeps it waterproof, easy to clean, and it actually gives you a really cool, modular, conversation-style lounge.
Underneath each of the seats is deep storage bins, which stays true to Bayliner's goals of being the best in storage. The helm features a minimalist design, including a unique 7-inch multifunction gauge.
Yeah, a major success on this boat is definitely this bow lounge. You know, for a 16-foot boat, it certainly feels twice the size of that once you sit up here. It fits my frame easily. We could easily have another adult, and there's certainly room for the kids. They knocked it out of the park with the bow area on this boat.
The goal Bayliner had overall was to create 3 distinct conversation areas in the Element while allowing them to flow all together. The third of which is at the stern, where they have created a sunpad-style lounge that even has room for an optional cooler.
Well, Bayliner's gone and put a removable fuel tank in the Element, and it's actually a cool idea because why complicate it with an oversized fuel tank? They give you just enough gas to hang out for the day because that's essentially what this boat is, the ultimate day boat. You're going to spend just as much time, if not more, beached or on an anchor than you will running. So it's actually a really cool forward thought.
If you opt for the sports package, you'll be getting the cooler, bow filler cushion, along with custom graphics. But the sports come in the form of a custom monster tower with board racks. The tower will be great for all water sports, and the 60 horsepower Mercury Bigfoot will provide lots of torque. A big feature on this new Element is actually below the waterline. In order to make the boat more stable, the Bayliner engineers have come up with a new M-shaped hull. This is exactly as it sounds, with a modified V in the center, along with distinct chines that give an M shape. The benefits of this is an almost instant planing time, along with more lateral stability. At the dock, I was able to stand on the gunnels and rock the boat, and its stability was quite impressive. New boaters will appreciate the low bow rise, and I imagine with more people in the boat, it would be even less. The M-shaped hull gave the Element very cool and comfortable handling characteristics. It was fun and sporty, and with less banking in the turns, it made it seem more like a go-kart. The 60 horsepower Mercury was a great power choice for this boat, giving it enough power for water sports, but not too much for new boaters. As I mentioned, turns were flat and comfortable. The water outside of Sarasota was rough on test day, and it gave a chance to put the Element through its paces. All in all, the Element turned out to be a very cool package.
So I gotta say, after spending the day with the Element, Bayliner is certainly onto something with this boat. Not only is it gonna entice current boaters, but it's gonna bring in a whole new crowd of boaters as well. I definitely think with the Bayliner Element, it's the start of something new.
Here's this week's Mercury Marine My Boat feature.
If you're into long distance running, an autopilot should be really high on your wish list. Not only are they more accurate than human control, but they also are great at reducing the fatigue level if you spend long periods of time at the helm. So this week on My Boat, we're going to install the Simrad system in place of the Robertson unit that's failed.
First off, I made quick work of removing the old control unit.
Now that we've got the original Robertson control unit out of the helm, the first thing we're going to have to do is create a template here so we can have a piece of plastic made to cover up all of the holes in the helm. So we'll do that now, send it out for fabrication while we carry on with the rest of the project. Well, back here at the stern, we're at the rudders. So what we're going to do here is install the brand new Simrad rudder position indicator that uses SimNet to talk to the control unit. So we're going to remove the original Robertson unit and put this in its place.
It took only a few seconds to disconnect the link and remove the old indicator, and a few more minutes to locate and mount the new rudder position indicator in its place. With the rudders amidship, the new transmitter link was connected between the rudder arm and the indicator arm using the supplied ball joint connectors. Once connected, the link was adjusted to align the marks on the indicator to set the 0 position.
Well, the next piece of hardware to be installed, or in this case electronics, is the FluxGate compass.
By cutting the riser away from the companionway stairs, fabricating a new one, and mounting the FluxGate compass to the back of the riser, I was able to install it following the guidelines. These state that it must be located on the boat center line as low as possible, away from electrical and magnetic interference. With the compass in place, I headed into the bilge to fish the SimNet cable aft to the engine compartment.
Now, one of the things about running cable throughout a boat is you certainly get to find out how flexible you still are, or not, and visit some pretty interesting places. So what we've got here is the run from the rudder indicator, and we just have to take it to where our run came from the flux gate compass, where we'll put a connection box here, and the next tough task is going to be bringing the main line down from the helm in here to the engine compartment.
At the helm, using the template, the mounting hole was cut for the control unit, and the custom mounting plate was installed, and the control unit was set in place. Next up was fishing the SimNet cable from the helm to the engine compartment. I lost a full day on this. Back in the engine compartment, the SimNet cables from the control unit and flux gate compass were plugged into a multi-joiner. Then a cable was run from the joiner to the computer's location. The original Robertson computer was located in a locker in the cockpit, so it was a simple case of removing the old. Before installing the new computer, I first connected the cable from the rudder position indicator, then the SimNet cable from the joiner, the 2 positive and 1 negative power cable from the existing servo motors, and finally the 12-volt power. Mounting holes were then marked, drilled, and the computer mounted. Under the helm, I rigged the 12-volt power cable for the control unit with an inline fuse and connected it to the autopilot switch. Finally, the SimNet cable from the engine compartment and the power cable were plugged into the control unit, and it was secured in place.
Well, that's it. The steps you have to go through to install a new Simrad autopilot and adapt it to work with an older Robertson system, and there's plenty of those out there. It really is a plug-and-play system. However, like any project like this, the frustrating part is dragging everything through the boat. All we have to do now is power up the system, calibrate it, take it out on the water, give it its sea trial, but that's a lesson for another day.
Here's another boat locker tip.
With the season winding down, you may be reluctant to put your board and PWC away for the year, but you don't have to. You'd be surprised how the purchase of a good wetsuit can extend your season. The Smooth Skin Neo Top is wind-resistant textured skin material that has 2 millimeters of thickness for warmth and flexibility. The X-Flip X-Zip Shorty features Excel's less seam, more stretch design. It's 100% ultra-stretch neoprene and has a chest entry system and no zipper pressing against your spine, so water keeps out and keeps you warm. The full-size 4.3 also features Excel's less seam, more stretch design, as well as it has an offset back zipper that removes the zipper off your spine for improved comfort and fit. It's thermocarbon lined to provide excellent heat retention, and the water barrier inner dam reduces water flushing through the zipper. The purchase of a good wetsuit is almost like an investment. As long as you take good care of it and don't outgrow it, it should last you a lifetime, because staying warm on the water never goes out of style.
Welcome back to PowerBoat Television as we pass O'Donnell Point and the top of 12 Mile Bay, heading for the Moon River area and the Massasauga Provincial Park. This area contains a multitude of secluded and peaceful spots to drop anchor. To get to these anchorages, follow the northern entrance to the moon. It's illustrated on the chart by the dashed red line starting at the southern tip of Sans Souci Island and proceeding around the top of Houston Island. You will come to the day mark at Pilgrim's Point on Winnett Island. Just past it, small Emerald Island in the center marks the split in the route. Head to port for Three Finger and to starboard for Port Rawson. After cruising past Emerald to the north and along Kinnear Island, you will pass Veal Point and turn into Three Finger Bay, which is sometimes called Five Finger Bay. Three Finger Bay has mooring pins on the rocks, and because it is a provincial park site, it also has a number of campfire pits and campsites. There's space to anchor in all of the arms of the bay, except the far west one, which is accessible only through a narrow passage. Although it's inaccessible to cruising boats, it's a great bay to explore by dinghy. There's plenty of shoreline, so you can usually find a quiet place to anchor alone and enjoy the peace, quiet, and the natural beauty of the bay. To reach Port Ralston Bay, head south of Emerald Island, around the north of Crooked Island, and follow the day markers, which are the only navigation aids. You will find the trip up to Port Ralston a scenic one, so pull the throttles back, take your time, and enjoy the cruise. Just take it one day mark at a time as you pass through the islands. It's best to enter Port Ralston Bay from the southeast side of Bear Island, where the channel is wider with a depth of 19 feet. Wide open, Port Ralston Bay provides several small anchoring bays to choose from, but since it is so open, be mindful of the wind direction when selecting an anchorage. There's enough fetch in the bay to kick up a good chop in a wind. You will also find camp and day use sites throughout the area if you want to spend some time ashore. In the northern arm along the northwest shore, a few mooring buoys have been installed to tie off to. However, there is a fee for this convenience, which is collected by park staff in the evening. One of the most popular anchorages in Massasauga, Echo Bay, is back out along the western edge of the park, tucked in behind Sanssouci and Echo Islands. Although the channel into the bay is narrow, there is plenty of water depth that ranges from 21 feet at the entrance to 9 feet at the end. Echo Bay is divided into two arms. The anchorage is the southern arm, while the northern arm can be explored by dinghy. The anchorage has plenty of depth ranging from 11 feet to 14 feet, with ample room for larger vessels to swing in the center of the bay. A well-sheltered bay, Echo is ideal for hanging around for a few days to tour the area by dinghy and hop over to Henry's for lunch or dinner. But if you prefer, you can secure a dock at Henry's. Just radio ahead on VHF and ask the dockmaster for a slip assignment. It's a great place to meet up with fellow boaters and enjoy a meal and good times. The restaurant features fresh Georgian Bay fish served up family style in big bowls in the middle of the table.
Well, we've had a great day in the water. Really enjoyed the cruise today on Georgian Bay. Now, really looking forward to settling in for the evening here at Henry's, catching a great sunset, but also having a fantastic fish dinner.
Next week on the show, we'll spend some time in Parry Sound and continue our cruise through the 30,000 islands.
PowerBoat Television has been sponsored by Sea-Doo and BoatBuys.com. To watch the show on broadband or for any questions or comments, visit us at PowerBoatTV.com or follow us on Twitter.